What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be Love and Hip Hop Atlanta season, 9, episode 6, I believe. Absolutely. So we start this episode off where we left off last week with Karen King dropping the bomb on Scrap about the fact that his sister is messing with Shooter. And, of course, Cheyenne is like, that's not your place to say it. That was my place to say it. And, Scrap is like, wait a minute, hold up. Whoa, what's going on? Like, he was like, hold up, this is hella disrespectful. Like, man, I'm supposed to be going into business together, and y'all, neither one of y'all felt like had enough respect for me to tell me what was going on. He was like, I feel real stupid right now. And she was like, well, it's not like that. This was going on since before you even came home. And he was like, so that's all the more reason why it shouldn't be a secret, which is what I was thinking too. Like, if y'all already had an established relationship, that means that y'all knew each other before I even came into the picture. So it shouldn't have been nothing. Now, Shooter did clear up a little bit of this timeline a little bit later on in the episode. He said that him and Cheyenne was kicking it real tight. Cheyenne took a break from the relationship so that she could get her real estate license. And then after she got her real estate license, she came sniffing around again. And he was like, for him, it really was just sex. For her, she thought they were back in a relationship. Now, I'll get back to them later, because that still ain't no reason for things to be what they are. But we'll get back to them. But then Karen King did exactly what I would have done. She dropped that bomb and she rolled out. She was like, oh, because word on the street is that he's seeing somebody else. So now Cheyenne was like, what? Well, who supposedly is this? Karen was like, I don't know. Karen knew. She knew. And she did what? Exit stage left. I said, I know that's right, Karen. See, that's how I would have handled that shit. Somebody asked me earlier in the week on one of my lives about how I would handle something like that if I found out that my son if my son was cheating on his wife, like, would I snitch or whatever? And I was like, I probably wouldn't snitch, but I would drop some bread. No, not my son, but my sister, my daughter-in-law. Anyway, neither here nor there. You drop them breadcrumbs and you keep it moving, Karen. That's what you do. So the ladies are on the way to the house. They get to the house and Shekinah is already there. Now I'm wondering when Shekinah left, because she beat them there and they didn't even get the phone call or the text that Shekinah was coming until they were already on their way. So I'm like, now I know a car's gonna move faster than the Sprinter, and I know that they stopped at the store, but I was like, either Shekinah was already on her way or she was balling, because she wasn't like, I just got there. She was like, it took y'all forever to get here. So I'm like, I mean, who was driving now? But anyway, on the way up there, they stopped and got pregnancy tests, because Bambi was like, I'll take a pregnancy test if all y'all take a pregnancy test. Now, I do on one hand understand, but on the other hand, I kind of didn't. And everybody was like, all right, especially Mimi. Mimi was the first one I was like, I take one, because I'm sure Mimi knows that there's no shot in hell that she's pregnant. Now, Sierra said, me and BK been abstinent, but I had to slide up on it last week. That's not how abstinence works, Sierra. You're not abstinent just because you're not having sex in that moment. So the minute you slid up on it, you weren't abstinent no more. You weren't. That's not how that works. Anyway, shouts out to my girl Abby Reviews. Anyway, but let me say this about this girls trip. They are having a great, aside from the drama, we'll get to that in a minute, they're having a really good girls trip. Like, they are doing the kind of stuff that me and my girlfriends do, honey. They went to a pajama party. They went what's some things called? They didn't ski, but they got on the tubes. They went tubing. They had a little snowball fight with the fake snowballs. They had a whole sex conversation. They were having a good time. Now, here's where the drama side of it, and it's not even like their normal drama, like, well, at least on this episode, like, nobody was fighting. There was a lot of shade, though. Spice is upset with Shekinah. Now, what we found out about Spice and Shekinah is that Shekinah has been making a lot of promises to Spice that she hasn't been keeping. And the last straw was when Shekinah said she would help Spice look for a house. And when it was time to look for the house, Shekinah was nowhere to be found, and Spice was really pissed off. Now, what we have learned about Spice over these last couple of seasons that she's been on the show is that Spice has a very definitive level of friendship. Like, she really holds people that she calls her friend at a high regard. If she calls you a friend, she definitely has expectations of what that looks like. She does not use the word loosely, and so it sounds silly. What, you mad because she wouldn't go with you? But she said this isn't the first time. She said Shekinah always lets her down. Even she was supposed to come to Jamaica for her birthday last year, and she didn't show up. And so she said it's not just this one incident, but it's just, and she said, I'm just tired of it. Like, it's not funny to me. Shekinah makes jokes out of everything, and it's just not funny to me. Now, Carly was also feeling some kind of way. I don't know why she was throwing shade at Shekinah. Something with Shekinah, I don't know. Now, Mimi was like, well, dang, Spice, I was supposed to take you to Magic City, and I ain't never take you. Mad at me? Spice was like, yeah, you too. She said, I don't find it funny. Like, when you promise to do something, I believe you, and I hold people to that. So Shekinah is like, okay, well, I did it. I'm sorry. It is what it is. And Shekinah's thing is, me and Carly always go back and forth. So I don't even be paying Carly no attention. She said, but Spice, we really had a real friendship, and I really feel some kind of way that she's upset. Like, I feel some kind of way about it, because we really do have a serious friendship. So the ladies all took their pregnancy test, honey, and they said before they take the pregnancy test, everybody wanted to take a shot. I guess the last hurrah, once they find out they're pregnant, you can't, So they all took the pregnancy test, and when they came back down to check the results of the test, everybody's came back negative except for Sierra's and Bambi's. Honey, Sierra immediately starts crying. First of all, let me say this, and I mean this with all sincerity, and the haters, the trolls, y'all can call me whatever y'all want to call me. Y'all can tell me I look like whatever y'all want to tell me I look like. But Sierra, step away from the plastic surgeon. You are a beautiful girl, and you are ruining yourself. The lips, too much. She must have just got her lips done before she went on this ski trip. Too much. The body like, I really wonder if Sierra has body dysmorphia, because it just seems like she's gotten so much work done. I mean, I know all the girls have had something. We know that. But I don't know. And Sierra's a pretty girl. She don't need all of that. She really doesn't. But them lips were a hot damn mess when she got to crying. And then, of course, the makeup is running again. And, honey, she's like, I don't know what to do if I'm pregnant. And come to find out, they were just pulling a prank on her. It really was Bambi's test. She said that she took the first test and she saw that she was pregnant, honey. And so she took another test, and both of them came back positive. And so they pulled a prank on Sierra and mixed her test up. But she didn't find it funny. She was like, I don't think it's funny. Like, what they did to me wasn't right. I don't believe they did that to me. Like, I ain't find that whole thing funny at all. And so they were like, well, why were you so upset? Like, do you, like, not see yourself with BK? Like, and she was like, well, I mean, we've just been going through it. We've been having a rough time right now. She said, they said, what about if you were married? She said, if I was married, yeah, I would, I'd be cool. I'd be ready to have a baby if I was married. She said, but we just are not there right now. So the next morning, the ladies wake up. They're all cooking breakfast. And once again, Sierra and Shekinah and Spice, they throwing jabs back and forth at each other. So Sierra was like, look, shut up, Shekinah. She was like, you make me shut up. She was like, I put a dick in your mouth. And she was like, make you. So, of course, nasty ass Carly Red got a plastic one in her luggage. And she comes out of her room with the plastic, apparatus, and brings it into the kitchen. From a fun point of view, from a girls laughing and joking point of view, it was cool. Just from a sanitary point of view, I was like, why? Why would you have that in the kitchen? Why would you have it? Why would you bring it out? What have you done with it? Why is it in my kitchen? Did y'all see Spice cutting that banana? Why is Spice cutting a banana? Don't she know you peel them? Don't she know that they peel real nicely? I was wondering why she was cutting a banana like that. Anyway, whatever. So then they get into this conversation about needing a man, and Shekinah, this was a real moment. I felt Shekinah, I felt that whole conversation, and I thought it was deep. And what Shakana was saying was, she said, why is everything, why do women always feel like their happiness is attached to a man? She said, I done had a man ain't treat me right. I've been in 2 abusive relationships, physical and mental, and I will never go back to that again. She said, I will never allow a man to mistreat me. And they were like, oh, well, is that why you don't really date and stuff? And she was like, yeah, I'm not in no rush to have no man. Like, I done been there and done that. You know, men cause you to get in a beast with other women. I wonder if that was a little shout out to Akbar V from last season. And she was saying how, you know, he go out to the club and he cheat on you, and then he come home and want to beat your ass. She was like, I don't, and she was crying like Shakana was having a moment. She was crying, and she was telling her, she said, you know, from a child, we are raised to believe that our happiness is connected to a man. We grow up talking about what kind of man we want, a man with money, a man with this, a man with that. She was like, and that, you know, you need to learn how to be happy with yourself and love yourself before you start connecting to another man. And Spice was saying how she hasn't talked to her kid's father in 3 years. She said, once I left him, I was done. She was like, because they said, why you don't talk to him, Spice? She said, because he's an asshole. It's not funny. It was funny the way she said it, though. And then Carly, of course, was talking about, you know, her husband cheating on her, having another woman in her bedroom, you know. And so they were having a moment. They talked about Stevie J and Jocelyn and what he did to Mimi. They had a moment. And it was valid, you know what I mean? Because, and that's why I said this was a true girls' weekend. Because if you've ever been on a girls' trip, at some point in time, y'all have a conversation about men. Wherever y'all are in y'all life is what the conversation looks like. You know what I mean? Whether you're young, when me and my friends used to do road trips when we were in college, the conversations were different than if me and my friends doing vacations, me and my girlfriends are doing vacations together now, and we're talking about men. But it's always a conversation about men somewhere. And I thought it was a moment, you know, the ladies got emotional, all of them were crying, honey, because everybody got a story. Which is the sad part is that everybody has a story, you know, regardless of whether, and like Baby said, she said, look, we're in a good place right now. Me and Scrap are in a good place. We're happy. That don't mean it's always been, you know, roses with us. And we know that, you know, we know it hasn't always been perfect. So no matter where people are currently, it's always, everybody got a story. And I just thought that was a real moment. Like, I really felt like that was a real moment. Anyway, so that's why this was a really good trip. I enjoyed it. So the fellas are down to the suit shop, trying on suits for no reason, basically, because Jock is looking for a suit for the wedding because they're having a destination wedding. They're getting married in St. Lucia. He ain't even picked who his groomsmen are gonna be. So all of them are just in suits for no damn reason. So we got Shooter, we have Stevie J, Shooter, Jock, and Scrap. And Scrap's got Breland with him. And they're hanging out. And I mean, they're doing guy stuff. It's a harmless conversation. Jock is talking about how things ain't, you know, been too cool with him and Kendra. He said, you know, ever since he asked Kendra to marry him, it's been something. And, you know, he said it's just been real intense and things just ain't been going too well with them as far as that's concerned. And of course, you know, Stevie J and Scrap were like, that's what it is, bro. Like, buckle up, Buttercup, because that's what it's about. And so, he said that, and then he talks about how he don't want, you know, he doesn't want to have a traditional bachelor party. He's like, I don't really need strippers and all that. And they were fun. Here go, Scrappy. Oh, she already told you couldn't have no strippers. And I'm cracking up because I'm like, that's exactly what happened. Kendra said, no, you will not have any strippers. Not you don't want none. You won't have none. And so, you know, so they were having a decent conversation or whatever. So at this point, Scrap comes in. And Scrap says, you know, again, I respect how Scrap handled it. He kept it cool. He laughed and he joked with the fellas. He had a good conversation. He waited till the situation was over. And then he was like, yo, Shooter, can I holler at you for a minute? Shooter was like, cool, brother. Yeah, because, of course, Shooter's like, yeah, what's up, bruh? So Scrap was like, so, anything you need to tell me? Anything you haven't said to me that you might need to share with me? Now, here's the thing. Whenever somebody comes at you with that, whatever it is you think they don't know, they know. Somebody comes up to you and says, is there anything you feel like you need to share with me? Anything at all? Anything at all? That's That's your clue to just whatever the fuck you think that you need to tell them, you just gonna tell them. Whatever you think you need to say to them in that moment, you need to say. Shooter says, well, what you talking about? Shooter, you know what the fuck he's talking about. So he says, look, the other night we were over to the house, me, Ma Dukes, and Cheyenne. We were having a little family meeting, and Ma Dukes lets me know that you and Cheyenne been kicking it. And I'm just trying to figure out why y'all ain't have enough respect for me to let me know what's going on. Then Shooter bitch ass gonna say, I wanted to tell you, but, Cheyenne didn't want to say nothing. Even if that was true, that's a real bitch move to put it on her. Even if that's true, that was a real bitch move. Real bitch move. So, Scrap was like, I really don't care I don't really care. She said, at the end of the day, both of y'all should have had enough respect for me to let me know. He said, if that were your sister, I would, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just out of respect. That's my sister. I don't play that. That's real. That's against the code. I really don't feel, I'm really not happy about the situation. He said, I really need to have a second thoughts about us doing business. And Shooter was like, oh, for real? Yeah, for real. Because I don't know if I can trust you. And I can't go into business with somebody that I don't feel like I could trust. Now, at some point in this episode, Shooter said something was worser. Shooter? That's not a word. Worser is never. It's not a word. It's never been a word. Worser? You felt worse? Worser. So then we see Shooter with Kiyomi. Kiyomi is cooking spaghetti with ketchup and sugar. She said she from the South. She know how to cook. And everybody make their spaghetti different. And she's right. Spaghetti is like playing spades. Everybody got their own rules. Everybody makes their spaghetti. So, like, the best thing to do when you make a weird spaghetti, but at the end it tastes good, just don't let nobody see you making it. Let them taste it first, and then you can get into that you added the Heinz and the Domino sugar and all that. I know people add sugar to their spaghetti. I've seen them do it, and clearly people add ketchup. I've never experienced that. I'm not gonna go there. So now, to hear Kiyomi tell the story, Kiyomi said we're in an open relationship. So I'm cool with the fact that I know that I'm in an open relationship as long as those bitches know that I'm number one. Again, that's not how that works. If you're in an open relationship, that means you are sharing. There is no number one when you're sharing. There's no number. Anyway, the boy is there. Shooter's kids are there. Well, the daughter's out with her friends. The little boy's there. He ain't touched that spaghetti. He saw the ketchup and the sugar too, and he was like, "No, ma'am." No, and he was sitting there with a whole attitude. Now, I feel like he had an attitude because he wasn't feeling that scene. He wasn't feeling Kiyomi, and he was like, yeah, where my mama at? Now, Kiyomi's throwing shade, talking about that was a terrible thing about what's going on with your daughter. And that's when I think Shooter was saying how worse he was feeling. And Kiyomi had the nerve to actually try to sit there and act like she was going to question Sierra's parenting skills. He was like, yeah, well, I'm letting her handle it, because that's a female situation. I can't really get involved. She talking about and how is she handling it? Bitch, none of your business how she handling it. Because remember, you in an open relationship. You're not even his girlfriend. You don't get to question, ask, or have an opinion about how Sierra is handling the situation. If you don't go sit your beating up Bow Wow in the elevator ass down somewhere. So they're going to the game night. Jock is having a game night. So Kiyomi was like, oh, so I'm sorry. See, I'm all over the place with this whole thing. Shooter tells her about the situation with Scrap and Scrap's sister. And that's when we find out the timeline. That while Cheyenne was taking a break from the relationship to go get her real estate license, trying to better herself, do something with her life, become a better person, become financially independent, all that good shit. you decided to go out and, you know, you met up. That's when you met with Kiyomi. And Kiyomi is actually your number one, even though y'all are in an open relationship, but she your number one in that open relationship. And the way you feel about Cheyenne is really that it's just sex, and that, you know, and again, there you go being a bitch, throwing it on her. Well, I feel like she think it's more than what it is, but for me, it's just sex. Then that's what you tell her, is that it's just sex, because you got her feeling and acting like it is a whole relationship. You're a bitch. And it's because of you that they had that whole conversation up to the cabin about how men ain't shit. You one of them men, Briscoe. You are one of them men. No, not Briscoe, Shooter. I called you Briscoe, but Briscoe, I don't like him either. So then he tells Kiyomi about the game night, and she was like, oh, Cheyenne is gonna be there. Oh, okay. Well, I know I need to be cute there. I know I need to be cute. So we get to the game night. Jock is having game night. We meet a new character, Mita. And her and Jock have a past, but he said it was a long time ago, and he's an engaged man now, and she understands it is what it is, but I don't think she do. But that's going to be another conversation for an episode down the road, honey. We'll get there, I'm sure, because they wouldn't have brought it up if it wasn't going to be a problem. And of course, who come walking up in the door? That damn Safari and Erica Mena. Safari, I think you have been on every Love and Hip Hop except for Miami. You need to make your way to Miami next, because you've been on New York, you've been on Hollywood, and now you are on Atlanta. And the way you and Erica Mena came in there and had a confessional and stuff, almost like y'all gonna be on the cast, child. But of course, they gave us an update. They having the baby, life is great, la 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 la. So they're there for the game night. Cheyenne and Scrap are there, and Scrap was like, even though I'm still in my feelings a little bit about Cheyenne, you know, I'm still not really happy about how that whole thing went down. You know, I'm still here to support her. So I guess she got something to do with the game night, because he said it like he was supporting her, like her and Jock were doing the event together. I don't know. And then, of course, who come walking in the door in matching fucking outfits? Damn Shooter and Kiyomi. Now, listen. Cheyenne. In that moment, in that situation, don't you ever let a bitch see you sweat. You should have sat, when you saw what it was when they walked in the door holding hands and matching outfits. No matter how mad you were, no matter how hurt you were, no matter how pissed off you were, you don't give her that fucking satisfaction. Don't you ever give her the satisfaction. Do you hear me? She want to walk up to her talking about something. What's this about? Now, Scrap was trying to tell you to calm down. Scrap was like, he was telling you, be chill, be cool. Scrap peeped what was going on. And see, had she played her position, Scrap was going to play his position as big brother. And it might not have ended too well with him and Shooter that night, because he wasn't feeling it at all. But then, because Cheyenne got up and decided she wanted to confront Shooter, what's this? What's going on? Who is this? What's this? And Kiyomi told her point blank, like, I'm his bitch. Like, I'm his number one. Like, we're together. Like, that's what we're here. And of course, Kiyomi was loving every minute of it. She was here for all the shits. And then, of course, it ended up with, you know, Cheyenne trying to come for her, and of course, you know, security jumping in. But Cheyenne, I was so mad at you for giving this to her. Don't you ever give him that satisfaction. He is too big of a bitch for you to give him that much of your time. And this ran long because I had a lot to say. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments. Peace.